I just, I don't think I need to see someone who has been twice impeached and is a disgrace and a one-term president with 91 counts facing him. I think it legitimizes him. I don't need to be gaslit by Trump. We all know who he is. We all know what he stands for. We also know that Biden debated him twice and just like sort of mopped the floor with him. If you look at any of the studies, most Americans that watched it thought that Biden won, not only on policy, but on demeanor, especially. Does this person have the temperament to be the president? We know who Donald Trump is. I don't think you give him that type of platform.
But also, if Biden flubs, they'll be all over him. If Trump flubs,
but if he doesn't show up,
cares?
they'll be all over him.
Yeah, sorry, Joy. Biden's entire presidency has been one big flub. And as for Sunny Hostin, we're going to find out how she just completely owned herself in that anti-Trump screed. Also,
Joe Biden! Joe Biden! Joe Biden! Joe Biden!
videos coming in from bumbling Biden's disastrous and humiliating visit to East Palestine, a full year after the train derailment devastated the Ohio town with hazardous chemicals. We're going to see the latest on the public relations catastrophe and what it means for swing states in 2024. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. I think one of the more bizarre elements of watching these scenes from The View is realizing just how absurdly myopic their point of view really is. Take as Exhibit A what you just heard there from one of the co-hosts, Sunny Hostin. Now, if you don't know, Hostin has been over the years an avid advocate for racial reparations. But recently she just found out that she actually comes from a family of slave owners. So she would, in effect, be paying racial reparations to herself. But that cognitive dissonance can be seen precisely in what she just tried to pass off as political analysis. I mean, you heard her say it. Wait, if you look at the polls, the vast majority of Americans believe that Biden won both debates, right? You heard that. But the obvious retort to that is, yeah, but Sonny, what do the polls say now? If given the choice between Trump and Biden, who are the voters overwhelmingly choosing now? If polls were so authoritative and demonstrative back then, why not now? You see, this is the very definition of what it means to be caught up in your own echo chamber, thinking you're making a valid point when in point of fact you only end up undermining your own argument. Nate Silver of 538, the pollster darling of Democrats, is not so myopic. He's sounding the alarm that all the polling data coming in over the past year points to a single scenario. Biden is on track to lose re-election in a landslide. Now, let me show you the kind of data Silver's looking at. Here's a great breakdown of all of this from Red Eagle Politics. If you compare a president's approval ratings with the share of vote he gets in the upcoming election, you'll see they correspond almost to the number. Trump's approval at the time of the 2020 election was 46%. He ended up getting 47% of the vote. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I know. But the pattern is pretty consistent over the last several cycles. Obama's approval was 50%, and his vote share in 2012 was 51%. GW was clocking in at 52% in 2004, and then he went on to get 51% of the vote. All told, according to Red Eagle's analysis, over the course of the last 6 election cycles, on average, presidents running for re-election see a 1% underperformance in relation to their approval ratings. Joe Biden, ladies and gentlemen, has an average approval rating of 40%. He's not been above the 45% marker since October of 2021. This is why Nate Silver is sounding the alarm. Statistically, there is no way Joe Biden gets reelected at this point. Again, this is not me saying this. This is not Breitbart. This isn't Steve Bannon. This is the Democrats' darling pollster, Nate Silver. Silver is saying openly and publicly and as loudly as he can, all the numbers show that Biden is headed for an absolute disaster in November. What do you think? Remember, nobody was talking this way in 2020. No one. Is this an admission that they're not going to be able to cheat their way out of this one? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember, you are the news. Let us know what you think. Gang, if you're a regular to this channel, then you know that we're all about building the future now by creating a massive parallel economy dedicated to faith, family, and freedom. And ironically, we can actually build that economy by learning how to use the very corruption of our ruling political class against them. And you know exactly what I'm talking about here. Politicians like Nancy Pelosi have been getting insider trading secrets for decades now, enabling their returns to beat the market every single year. That's how they've amassed so much wealth. But thanks to a little-known SEC database, guess what? We can have access to the very same trading secrets that these politicians are privy to. We get to see what stocks corporate CEOs are buying up in real time, and then we get to piggyback on their trades to gain the same advantage for ourselves that Pelosi and the crooks in D.C. have. My friend Ross Givens has been tracking insider trading for years, and his recommendations have led to investment returns of over 200%. Some have hit as high as nearly 1,500%. And now it's your turn. Click on that link below right now and learn how you too can learn to trade like Pelosi. Click on that link and learn how to gain an insider advantage for yourself today. Now, we need to talk about the public relations disaster that was Biden's humiliating visit to East Palestine, Ohio. Last Friday, someone in the Biden administration thought it would actually be a good idea for Biden to go and visit East Palestine, the site of the disastrous train derailment that spilled hazardous chemicals into the immediate area of the town. Now, this was a disaster that happened over a year ago, and literally within hours after that disaster, President Trump showed up, and here was the reaction of the townspeople.
All right, guys. Just like this. Come on in close.
Biden not showing up, you showing up before he did.
Terrible. I think it's terrible. You know
Thank
that.
you so
Let me
much
see
for
that.
coming.
Get him out of here. Thank you so much.
Now, by contrast, here's what greeted bumbling Biden an entire year later.
Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Let's go!
That's the message. That's the message to Biden right there. Too little, too late. How you guys doing? There you go, guys. Out here in East Palestine, this is Joe Biden finally showing up more than a year later. And that's the message. Real simple. Too little, too late.
Now, again, I don't know whose idea this was. Perhaps it was the same person who thought it was a good idea to show Biden posing with a birthday cake engulfed in 81 candles. I don't know. What I do know is that that visit was a public relations disaster. Biden's losing Ohio by double digits. He lost it by nearly 10 points in 2020. He's going to lose it again in 2024. Why anyone in his inner circle thought this was a good idea is beyond me. But what we saw recently in East Palestine is suggestive of what we're seeing in swing states as a whole, particularly around Ohio, like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. For example, the latest Emerson poll has Trump up by 5 in Pennsylvania when you factor in all the other candidates. Now, let that hit you. Trump is up 5 in Pennsylvania. Considering that he's going to easily win Georgia, again, he's up by almost double digits there, and word on the street is Biden's basically given up on Georgia. That's from the New York Times. If Trump takes Georgia, then all he needs is Pennsylvania. This election is over. Again, this is why Nate Silver is panicking here. The math is thoroughly on Trump's side. So circling back to the ladies at The View, Biden flubbing in a debate turns out to be, frankly, the least of their worries. It's Biden himself that is the problem. And it looks like the ladies at The View are they're going to be in for a very, very rude awakening come November. God bless. First, gang, as many of you know, we have unfortunately been completely and totally demonetized, which is putting our daily communication with one another at risk like never before. Now, we are actively working on getting this resolved, but as things stand, This channel has, without any warning, been totally and completely demonetized. And as Elon Musk said so powerfully last week, the whole point of these demonetization efforts is to deliberately try to make us patriots feel like we're all alone. They want to sever our relationship with each other and force on us a kind of digital solitary confinement so as to demoralize us and discourage us like never before. But to their horror, it's not working. Over this past week, you have carried this channel like never before. We've had more people than ever make the courageous decision to bypass big tech and join our Insiders Club. We have direct access to one another that can never be interrupted by big tech overlords. Over the last 7 days, we've seen literally thousands of you come to our rescue. And you've done it in two ways. You've signed up for our free newsletter and you've officially joined our Insiders Club. Those two acts alone are enough for us to collectively stand together and never, ever have our relationship severed. So I'm inviting the rest of you to do the same today, just by clicking on that link below and signing up for our newsletter and joining our Insiders Club. You are guaranteeing that there is nothing that big tech can do to get between us and make us feel like we're in a digital solitary confinement. It's as simple as clicking on the link below right now and opting into our free email newsletter. And once you do that, you can financially support us by joining our Insiders Club. Gang, from the bottom of my heart, I cannot thank you enough for your support during a time like this. You are my heroes, and it will be my mission to express my appreciation for every single one of you each and every week.